Hey guys, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you have been here before. It's so nice to be back. It's currently March 16th and I have thought a lot about getting back to YouTube. I think I actually talked about it half a year ago. This video will probably be a lot similar to the video I made last time. Last time I was sitting in a cottage, an apartment, I don't know what to call it, in a little city in Denmark called Spjald, alone, and I was on my first solo trip, all by myself, and it was a game changer. Let's get back to 9 months ago. Exactly today. 9 months ago, exactly today, I got a call from my mom, who called me and told me my dad had passed away over the night. She was alone in the house with him and waited for some paramedics to come and check him. But she was sure that he was dead. And of course I asked as the first thing if he needed me to be there. I had my dad's car, luckily, but he probably did not think that I would get anything good out of it. So I waited an hour and then I called her and said, "Is it okay that I'm coming out to you?" And she said yes, and I got out to my parents' house and met a policeman outside the house, and the only thing I thought about was just getting into my mom. I wanted my mom, I wanted my dad even more, but at that moment I just think I needed my mom. But I listened to what the policeman said. He said that my mom seemed a little confused, which she is. She is always confused, has been for the last years because she has been sick. So there was a lot of stuff that I needed to know. I was told where my mom was and where my dad was, and I was told what we were supposed to do and if I needed anything and stuff, and I was just like, thank you. And I smiled to him and I went inside and met my mom. And I had actually decided before I went there that I wouldn't go see my dad. But I did. I went into the living room with my mom. I decided that I would probably regret it if I did not see him. And I know by a fact now that I was right. I would have regretted it so much. But yeah, we went into him and I gave him a hug and told him that I loved him. And then we went out to the kitchen and talked until they came to get him to the hospital. He was announced dead at the... I don't remember if it was the 17th or the 16th. I actually think it was the 17th. And he probably died the 16th. I am not completely sure about the dates, which is too bad. Then we also called my sister. She was in Turkey at that time, and she would come home the day after. My dad was supposed to pick her and her boyfriend up from the airport. The next day I drove there with my mom, and it was kind of weird because we were happy to see each other, but it was still sad. And yeah, we just had a long week. The first day there we also talked with my grandparents, and I'm pretty sure I also called my aunt in the evening, but my grandparents told her because it's fucking hard to tell people that a person close to them is dead. And we called my mom's aunt and my mom's sister, and we called two of my dad's best friends, closest friends. One that he was friends with in his youth and has been friends with all his life, and knew a lot of the people from his youth that he still saw at the time he died. So he could tell them. And I talked with him because I was one of the people that was closest to him. And we talked with a person, a close friend that knew a lot of the people that he had gotten in his later years. And we talked to his manager at work. He was actually, I'm pretty sure he was actually the first person to know, because my mom was like, we need to call them and say that he's not getting to work today. So yeah, we had a crazy week with a lot of stuff and a lot of things that has happened since then. My mom has moved to the city that I'm living in. The house is sold. We have used a lot of time to sort out what we want and what we don't want, and it's crazy. There's been a funeral and a lot of family gatherings, and I have changed personally a lot the past 9 months. And that part was actually what we were supposed to talk about today. So I'm sorry for my crying face for this first part of the video. I'm so sorry. And if you have any questions about it, I'm also open to talk about it. It is of course hard, but I'm not broken, if that makes sense. I am open to talk about it. I can talk about it. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. In September last year, I think, I had planned a trip to the little city called Spjald. I should be there with my friend. A week before leaving, she told me that she wasn't able to come, and I was like, okay, I can pay the full paying and not get anything out of it, or I can pay the full paying and go there because there's no refunds. So I decided to go by myself, and I did think about bringing another person, but I actually decided that I've thought about doing these solo trips for so long, so why not just try it now? So I did it. There was a shop and a pizzeria, and that's it, basically, that I could get something out of. But it was cozy, it was nice. I got some time alone in another city, and I went on a walk, and it was nice. And it was my first solo trip, and that was where I filmed the last video to you. And I actually tried to film a vlog to you at that time as well, but things got messed up and I lost my faith in that I was able to do YouTube. That happens sometimes. I lost the faith in that I was good enough to English, and I lost my faith in that I was interesting enough. I'm not saying that I'm incredibly interesting right now. I'm just saying that I pretty much has grown up. I pretty much have grown up with a camera, because since I was 13 I have made videos. It's over half of my year. It's over half of my life I have made videos to YouTube. So it's hard to just put away, and I love doing it. I just get insecure. And then after all the things with my dad, I also think it's pretty normal to re-evaluate who you are, what you want to do, and things get, one day you want this, and one day you want this, one day you want this, and you can't prepare on what you're feeling the next week, because it changes like this. It's crazy. I went on this solo trip and it was so nice. The only thing that I was sad about was that I did not get this vlog out of it. And in November I went on my second solo trip. I went on not a road trip, it wasn't train, but I went on a trip where I visited multiple cities. First I went to a city called Køge in Zealand, and it was not really because I had any plans there. There was a restaurant that I wanted to eat at, but I did not really have any plans beside that. It was basically just because to get to the city where I was going to sleep, I had to change transport in Køge no matter what, so I just decided to stop in Køge and just walk a little around in the city before getting on to the city where I was going to sleep. And I ended up getting something to eat. I ended up seeing a house from a TV series that I loved. I saw statues. I love statues. I just got a lot of walking done. It was really nice. I got some hot cocoa by myself, and just this thing to eat alone and to get hot cocoa alone, it was a game changer. I have never felt secure about doing that, but that was also my plan with this, that I needed to do this by myself. So I did it, and I was so proud of myself. I was so happy. I did the train by myself. I did everything by myself, and it was so freaking nice. And then I got to a city called Faxe, where I was going to sleep. And I had actually put me into a dorm where there was space for 5 people, I think. And I got there and I was the only one who was going to sleep there, so it was really nice, and relaxed a little bit after I had been walking in the snow for an hour to get to this hostel. And then I went to a restaurant nearby to get some food, and again I ate by myself and I had the best time of my life. I went back and slept, and the next day I went to a city called Roskilde, where we have Roskilde Domkirke, which is a church where all the monarchs from Denmark since in like 1,000 years has been buried. So I went there and saw all the burial I went there and saw all the graves, and it was so freaking pretty. And I also saw a statue of my favorite actor. She was the actor to the TV series that I talked about before, and I did not know there was a statue of her in this city. So I was like, oh my god, I just met Lise Nørgaard in the middle of Roskilde. I did not know she was here. it was nice. And then I went to a city called Nyborg, because the last 4 years I have been to Nyborg Voldspil in Nyborg. And Nyborg Voldspil is a theater where they are making a musical every year, every summer and every winter. And I've been to the summer musicals since 2021. I was there first time, and then I've been there every year since then, and I'm also going this year. But I had never been to their winter musicals, and they were making Nissebanden, which is a Danish Christmas advent calendar. And I went to a musical by myself, and it was a children's musical, but I loved it. And I was on my way home in the train, I was about to cry by the proudness of me going alone on this trip, and the feeling of having seen so many things all by myself. It was the best thing in my life. I'm so happy. I'm still so when I think about it, you can feel it. But here in February I went on my 3rd solo trip, and this time I went to the capital of Denmark. I went to Copenhagen, and I thought, okay, I have been out eating alone, I've been out getting hot cocoa alone, I have been in Copenhagen a lot of times, and there's a lot of things that I want to see there, but the challenge in Copenhagen will be that there is a lot of people, like a lot of people. So I planned from home what I wanted to see, of course, and then I went, and the first day I just went to the hostel, checked in. It was on Valentine's Day, so I did not have the courage to eat at a restaurant. I did not want to sit by a lot of couples and just sit there alone. I thought it was so cringe for some reason. I hope I'm better next year, but this time I just decided to order some sushi and sit by the lakes and eat it on a bench. And it was nice. In Copenhagen I slept on a dorm as well, and this time I actually slept with 5 other people, and it was weird to get waken up in the middle of the night by strangers. So I don't think that is something that I'm going to do again, honestly. But now I tried it. It does not provoke my anxiety, but I did not get enough sleep because I was woken up all the time. I went out at 7 AM from the hostel, went to get some bakery from a supermarket and just eat that as my breakfast. And then I just walked around the city, looked at the monuments and had a nice time. Thought about all the stories that I knew about different places, about different people that I saw as like the monuments, and it was just amazing. The buildings are amazing, especially when you know the story about it, and I just had the time to look around and see all the things like for real, and it was so nice. And when the clock turned 11, I think, I went to Round Tower, which is a round tower where I got a ticket, and it has been something that I've thought about a long time to see, and I was disappointed. It was not as good as I wanted it to be, and I was disappointed. Then I was done there 1.5 hours before I thought I would be. It took me like half an hour from I got in to I was out again. And then I went to a ferry that was a ferry tour, and I went there by myself, and it was so nice. I love ferry tours. I love to see a city from the harbor part and get the story about the city seen from the harbor part. I think it's so nice and a crazy opportunity. I love it. I pretty much do it every time I have the chance to do it. And then I went to a restaurant to get some food, and it was actually a little bit, it was actually a nice restaurant. Like it was not cheap, it was not extremely expensive, but it was a pretty restaurant, and I felt a little uncomfortable in the start, but then I just was like, okay, this is actually pretty nice to sit here. And then I went to see my uncle that is living, like, he was living 4 kilometers from that place, so I just went to walk to his place because there was still 2 hours till I should be there. So I decided to walk, and then on the way I got into a pub and just got a beer. It has been a pub where I have been with my dad once, and I just wanted to try to go on a pub that I did not know anybody at by myself again. It's a long time ago I have done that, so I did that and it was nice. And after talking to my uncle, I went back home. I took a bus home because 4 kilometers in the night, no thank you, and in the snow. The next day I went to, it's crazy this thing, I went to this supermarket to get bakeries again, because a snail pizza thing, perfect to breakfast. And I went in the cold out to see a monument of one of my favorite Danish actors. Like real, he has been my hero since I was a little kid. I went to see that, and when I got there I thought I could eat breakfast with him, so I opened my bakery pack and started to eat, and my pizza thing was frozen. Not just frozen, but frozen. There was ice crystals in it, but I ate it. It was crazy and it was fun. And then I walked to a cemetery where a lot of famous Danish people are buried, like Søren Kierkegaard and H.C. Andersen, Hans Christian Andersen, and a lot of actors. And the only place I could find was Hans Christian Andersen, and I went there and I was just like, there's no everywhere. I don't want to go to every grave and just bust away the snow. There's over 1,000 graves here. So, and again, it was cold. So I went to the bus stop and took the bus, and I went to a museum about war, and I thought I would use a lot of time there. I thought I would use a lot of time on the cemetery. I did not use a lot of time on any of these places. The museum was about war, and I have been there before, but I feel like it's so different from what I remember. So I was a little disappointed, not to say a lot disappointed. And I went out after an hour, I think, and I thought I would use 3 hours in there. So I was like, what to do now? There's still 4 hours till I can go home with the train. So I found a hop on hop off bus, and I bought a ticket and I got on there, and I was sitting there basically for the rest of my trip, and it was so nice. I loved it. Yeah, it was cold that day and I was sitting in a bus, and I could eat my snacks, I could drink my soda, I had the heat turned on, I could hear a lot of Danish history, so I couldn't ask for more. I could see all the things without getting out of the bus, and I was happy. It was great. Yeah, but you may think, what happens next? And to be honest, I have a lot planned for the next few months. Like, I think I have 4 trips planned for the next 3 months. Here in April, I am going to Hamburg, where I'm going to see a lot of stuff again. I'm not completely sure what I'm going to see, but I'm going to see a lot of stuff. I'm going to use 4 days there, and I'm thinking about going to a theme park, Heide Park, one of the days by myself. That could be something new to check off. I've done a theme park by myself. That could be fun. And going to another country by myself, that's something that I would never think about doing. And then I am actually going to have a writing period of time. I'm going to write an assignment to the school, and I've decided, because I have 6 hours transport every day right now to my internship, I decided to get a cottage, the same cottage that I was in Spjald there. I have decided to get the same one here in start May, I think, and use it because I can sleep a whole hour more every morning, and I get home an hour before every day, so it's just perfect. And then at the end of May I am done with my exam, and I actually just booked a 3 or 4 days where I can, I think it's 3 nights I have booked at the cheapest place in Denmark. And it's because I wanted to see what the cheapest place in Denmark was, and what it is, yeah. And I'm going there to celebrate that I am done with this part of my studies. And then in June I am going to Rome by myself for a whole week, and it's going to be crazy. So I have a lot of things planned. Rome, I am pretty sure I thought about it. Healthy Year, I haven't ordered anything yet. I haven't booked anything yet. So I'm not completely sure, but my thoughts are that I'm going because I have planned it for Healthy Year. And the Spjald trip, I'm also pretty sure because it is a good idea. But we'll see what's going to happen. The other things I have already booked. That was a little update from me. If you want to know what I'm going to do with this channel, I'm not completely sure. I think I will try to take you with me when I'm going to Hamburg. And I will try to take you with me a little bit here at home. If you have any wishes of what you want to see from me, you can also write in the comments. I may start to talk about some history again. I love history, so if that has any interest, please let me know and then I will look at it. But now I think I will eat my food before it gets cold. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!